Welcome, friends. Today, we are doing another fragrance rotation video for the week ending the 15th of December, 2024. Blimey. That has gone quick. 2024 has gone quick, my friends. It has gone quick, and that is frightening. There's what? 2 more fragrance rotations this year? Fuck. And then we are into January. It's coming up to the busy Christmas period. I've decided on a theme for Christmas that I will wear, and that will be fun. Anyway, enough of that. Let's get back to this week. On Monday, there was a theme this week as well. That's why I mentioned that. There was a theme this week, and you will see. The theme was leather. On Monday, I wore Bel-Ami by Hermes. This is my 2002 re-release. I think Jean-Claude Ellena re-released this. He reformulated it, put it back out there. It's still available at Hermes counters and stuff like that. Not this version. There's been a couple more reformulations since then, at least 2. But this is my early 2000s bottle, and it's fantastic. I think I prefer this to my shaker bottle version, which I also own. A really good fragrance, that. It's very kind of... It's got that basil, sage, carnation sort of thing going on, you know, and then it's quite traditional because it was released in the 80s. The original perfumer wasn't Almerac, it was Suzac, Jean-Louis Suzac. I think this was when there was that huge glut of those big, verbose leather things, you know, like Coros, Antaeus, Derby, all of that sort of thing. And this was Hermes's gambit, and it was very good. It smells like a Hermes. It's a lot more closely aligned with something like Antaeus than it is something like Coros, you know. It's not just stinky. It's got a lot of fashion and coolness going on, you know. It's got this kind of spicy thing going on. It's a lot more spicy these days, but then it dries down to that leather, oak moss, vetiver kind of thing, which is beautiful, you know. It's a very beautiful fragrance, extremely well made, very smooth, you know. And I really love it. As I do all of the fragrances in this list, actually, I would be surprised if there wasn't a fragrance in this list that I don't absolutely love looking at them. Yes, that's true. You know, that's what I wanted to achieve when I started selling off perfumes. I'd get to wear absolute loves every day. And next up on the list is a perfume that I absolutely love. This is Cuisinart, honestly. Honestly, I promise it is Cuisinart. I know that the white label and the light make it very hard to see, but it is Cuisinart, I promise. The sprayer on this has decided to not bother anymore, so I might have to decant this, but I bought myself a bottle to put it into, and it's this. It's basically a milk bottle, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. I feel like there should be something a little bit more dignified than a milk bottle for a Dior classic, and I think this is a classic, actually. This is one of the last great Diors, released in 2014, which was 10 years ago, which is going to be 11 years ago in a couple of weeks, which is just a disgusting thought. This is orange blossom, big syrupy orange blossom, iris, leather, smoke, jasmine. Beautiful. It's Dior's version of Cuir de Russie, and I actually prefer it. If I'm being honest, I prefer it. This was when Francois Demachy was still making good fragrances. It's a beautiful thing, you know, totally unisex, male or female. It will wear differently on both. Let the perfume do the work. It's a stunning bit of perfume, and really puts everything they've done ever since. Essentially, I think this was probably the last great one, if I'm being honest. Put everything they've done since in the shade, including Sauvage, especially Sauvage, which is shit. Okay. Next up we have a classic, an absolute classic. This is Knisa 10. Knisa 10, the gentleman's fragrance. It says on the bottle, if you say so. It was released in 1925. Rosemary, cinnamon, sandalwood, rose, a little bit of that kind of orange blossomy kind of thing going on, you know. A big leather, huge castoreum, musky, a little bit mossy, sandalwoody, some iris too. It's quite similar to Cuisinart. This doesn't get talked about very much anymore, but if you love leather perfumes, you should really at least try this, if not buy it. Don't blind buy it. Try it though. I think they still do samples. If you're in the UK, you can get it from La Senteur. Excuse me whilst I hydrate, for I am thirsty. Performance is massive. Performance is massive on all of these. Maybe with the exception of Bellamy, which isn't as like it isn't as massive as the other ones. You know, it's a little bit more. It's a little bit more kind of chill. Okay, next up, Thursday. Thursday is another absolute classic. A brilliant perfume from a once brilliant house. This is Vintage Fahrenheit. Now, the modern isn't actually that bad. It's a lot better than everything else that's on the designer docket these days from Dior and all the other houses, if I'm being honest. This is a really, really good perfume, and it's a shame perfume houses don't release things like this anymore. But they just don't. They just don't. You know? You would never get anything that was this good these days, this different, this clever, you know? Mace. I get mace. Nutmeg, sandalwood, carnation, jasmine. But really the main stars of the show, for being honest, are that violet leaf leather vetiver combination that give this gasoline, petroleum forecourt kind of vibe. Gasoline on the wind, like gasoline was here and it left behind a residue, you know, or oil, that kind of thing, you know. It really, to me, this always smells like, I mean, everybody says, like, the mechanic with his leather jacket. To me, this always smells like mechanic in jeans rubbing his, like, oily hands on his thighs, you know, to wipe the excess off. That's what this kind of, like, brings out. It's an absolutely fantastic fragrance. It is at once clean and dirty. You know? It's astringent but decayed. Like something charred, you know? It's fantastic perfume. One of the best ever, really, for being honest. I think that's Suzak as well, actually. Maybe with, what's he called? The guy who I accused of making Bellamy. Michelle Almerac. With Michelle Almerac. Okay, next. Friday. Friday, I wore another classic, an absolute banger, and a perfume I love. This is Antaeus by Chanel. Another leather, another 80s perfume, another absolute banger. This is a sensational perfume. Absolutely everything in this, everything about this is fantastic. It's clary sage, coriander, myrrh, rose, basil, jasmine, oak moss, big oak moss, castoreum, leather, patchouli. This is the modern version. I have many vintages, but I'm still happy to wear my modern version. I think it's really good. It's better than all that other shit that's out there at the minute, you know? That's being released 2024 and will continue to be released 2025 because the perfume industry seems absolutely determined to force absolute grunt on us at every fucking opportunity. Excuse me whilst I hydrate. Performance on this is still fantastic. It was made by Jacques Polge and allegedly Francois Demachy, who worked at Chanel for a while. How interesting. Excuse me. To me, this is more of a patchouli rose these days than the vintage ones. The vintage ones, that castoreum, rubbery, labdanum, grippy kind of material is mental. It's much more prevalent. But in this, I get a lot more of the floral heart and I get a lot more of that kind of aromatic sort of thing going on, you know? But this is stunning. I love this stuff. Okay. Saturday. Yesterday even. Yesterday I wore a perfume from Mona Diorio called Queer. This is one of the best leathers and one of the best smelling perfumes I own, generally. I would wear this on a day out, night out, if I was looking to impress, smell serious, have people take me seriously. It's grown up, it's smoke, it's cardamom, castoreum, cade. It's green. It's got a greenness to it, which I think it's got something like wormwood or absinthe in it, which gives it this kind of funky, and I don't mean funky as in like gross smelling. I mean funky as in like a funky colour, you know, like a greenness to it. It's very smoky and it's very leathery. I was put onto this by Robes08. He was going mad about the vintage one that he had in some videos, talking about how it was a brilliant fragrance and he loved it. And I was like, oh, go on then, I'll have a smell of that. And I smelled it and I was like, what? I was like, I didn't know this could be like a perfume that people want to smell of, but they do, because it's fucking brilliant. And I do. And I'm glad I've got a few bottles because they've just folded as a house. They are no more. They are a late House and X perfume brand, which is a crying shame because Mona Diorio deserved to have that legacy live on, frankly. I don't think the brand was doing too well, and I'm not sure they'd be able to use the materials. She unfortunately passed away at a young age about 12 years ago. She died on the slab. Bless her. Not to worry. Okay, scent of the day. Today, my scent of the day. Let's add a couple of sprays. You will see the fucking dent I've put in this. I fucking love this. This is Francesco Smalto Porom. I think this is fucking amazing, and I always have. Look at the dent I've put in that. Look at it, that's not a dent. There's more dent than there is perfume, considerably. There's only about a quarter left. I'd say there's about 20-25 mil left in there. You know what I mean? I can just wear this throughout the year. I think this is an unbelievable signature fragrance. Maybe not in the height of summer, but it's got that kind of fresh aromatic top. That it's got like it's got a beautiful lavender in it, rosemary. Again, it's got that aniseed, wormwood sort of thing going on, absinthe, which gives it that kind of little twang, spicy greenness. Fern. It's like a fougere. It's a smoke moss perfume. It's a smoky oak moss perfume. Big leather note in it. Italian leather. Cedar patchouli. Oh, it's just fantastic and I love it. And you can tell that I do because I've put a fucking mighty dent in it. And if you go back and watch my fragrance rotations, you will hear me wax lyrical about it. And this has been my leather week, friends. 1, 2, 3, 4 of which were released in the 80s. Says a lot. Thanks very much, everyone. See you later.